Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 20th episode of the Diversey BW Hotelier GM Show Series Season 2. This is a great milestone. Last year, we closed at 20. Looks like we've crossed the halfway stage this year, and we're going on. We have a lot of requests. The show will go on longer than last year. We're going to take a break over here after today's episode of 6 weeks, and we'll be back on the 26th of October. I shall give more details of this in a bit. Today's show is very interesting. I have 4 brilliant general managers and a great topic. Our topics are extremely relevant, extremely current, and ones which the industry must discuss. Today, it is predictive analytics for demand forecasting. Explore how predictive analytics help general managers anticipate and manage demand fluctuations. So before I go ahead any further, let me bring in my partner of the series, Diversey, with their video. Yeah. Thank you so much, Diversey. Thank you for the faith that you've shown in brand BW Hotelier and brand the GM Show. The series is extremely relevant, and your support helps us to take it further down all geographies of the country with some of the finest general managers. So this show we do virtually. We go from north to west to the south to the east to the northeast, central, and we keep going round and round. We do this virtually because it helps us to bring in all general managers at the same time on one screen and discuss relevant topics, like I said. And it is held every Thursday and Friday from 4 to 5 p.m. I'm sure you blocked your time. And it's webcast across bwhotelier.com and our various social media platforms. I'm sure you're aware of this. And the recordings can be watched here as well. Now, I want to also introduce the BW Hotelier Indian Hospitality Summit and Awards, which is due in about 45 days. It's a great event. It's India's biggest hospitality event. This year, it's going to be held on the 20th and 21st of October. It's a Friday and Saturday at the Pullman Aerocity in New Delhi. Be there, register yourself. It's all there virtually, and you can log in and be there physically. But be there physically once you get your invite. All right. And I'm sure you've all filed your nominations. The awards are going to be extremely exciting. And yes, of course, I have just told you a few minutes ago that we shall be taking a 6-week break in preparation for the IHA, which is extremely big. We'll be back on the 26th of October, which is a Thursday. Be there. All right. Here it is. That's the important announcement. The GM Show is taking a 6-week break, and we'll be back with episode 21 in the East on the 26th of October at 4 p.m. All right. Now, without much ado, let me bring in my partners on the show, and begin with Kunal Shankar. Kunal Shankar is the general manager of the Intercontinental Chennai Mahabalipuram Resort. Welcome to the show, Kunal.
Thanks a lot, Bhuvnesh. It's a pleasure to be on this show. I was there last year.
Yes.
And I also like to thank the sponsors, Diversey, and my fellow colleagues on the show.
Pleasure. Such a pleasure having you back. Next in is somebody with whom this is my first show, Shilpa Rameja. She's the general manager of the Taj Wellington Mews in Chennai. Welcome to the show, Shilpa.
Thank you, Mr. Khanna. Indeed, a pleasure to be here, and good evening, everyone. Look forward to this, sir.
We're delighted to have you grace our show.
Delighted to be here, sir.
Pleasure. Next in is somebody with whom this is my second show together, Ruben Das. Ruben Das is the general manager of the extremely well-appointed Hyatt Regency in Chennai. Welcome to the show, Ruben.
Hi, thank you so much. And it's a pleasure to be back here at your show, Bhuvanesh.
Such a pleasure, Ruben.
Thank
you for being back.
Thank you.
Last but not the least, Diwakar Shukla. Diwakar Shukla is the general manager of the Holiday Inn Chennai OMR IT Expressway. OMR and ECR is where all the action is in Chennai now. Welcome to the show, Diwakar.
Thank you very much. And in fact, since this is my first show, I must thank the BW Hotelier and you, Mr. Khanna, for inviting me. And I must tell you that, I've been seeing the show, and the real use of technology, even during the pandemic, was done by you. You really run your summits so impeccable during the pandemic. So, it goes to you and the team. But thank you very much for inviting me on the show and for these topics to be discussed.
Well said. Yes, we actually came of age during the pandemic. And who knows that better than Kunal and Ruben? They were my partners in this crime when I got flying with these virtual shows. Yeah. And we've come far. We've done hundreds of these shows since. And yeah, and also thank you to Team BW for making it possible. Now, let me just detail this show, right? The subject, we are aware, is predictive analytics for demand forecasting. It's an extremely important tool in the armor of any general manager, right? Predictive analytics is not just for the general manager. General manager, of course, yes, because the general manager hems the ship, right? They are the ones who skipper it, but it's for everybody under your team, in your team, and across industries. So in today's dynamic hospitality landscape, if one was to say specifically, the ability to anticipate and manage demand fluctuations is pivotal for the success of general managers. Predictive analytics, a powerful tool in the digital age, empowers general managers to make informed decisions, optimize resources, enhance guest expectations and experiences. Through this discussion, we shall bring together industry experts from the four of you to explore the world of predictive analytics for demand forecasting and how it revolutionizes the way you approach business operations and strategy. So I shall begin rolling, right? We are 9 minutes into the show, and my first shot goes to my good friend, Kunal. Kunal, if you were to tell me, as an introduction, you're going to set the tone and context for the session, for the show. If you can define predictive analytics in the context of hospitality demand forecasting in sync with my introduction.
Thanks, Bhuvanesh. I'm going to try and keep this as non-technical without any jargon so that, the target audience can, understand the points that we're trying to put across. So simply predictive analytics in the simplest terms would mean that using your past data and information to predict future outcomes. So typically hotels, this tool has been there around for a few years, the predictive analytics tools. So it would take anything between 1 year to a few years of data and combine this, with other external factors like demand and competition, laced with complex algorithms, on a technology base, creating something called as a predictive analytics tool. Now, this tool, the predictive analytics tool, would generally take out snapshots of your demand. This could be 3 months up to 12 months of data sets. So once you have this data set, it is directional in nature. It sets a foundation, that this is what your demand would look over the next 3 months, next 6 months, next 9 months, and next 12 months. So as a general manager and as a hotel team, we have an opportunity based on local conditions to fine tune this forecast to what works for us. So in a nutshell, that's what predictive analytics, is, giving us the future information. Now, some of the other variables that go into the demand forecast in the predictive analytics tool, besides the historical information, is your seasonality, your sold out dates, your weather, that is there, your flight data, aggregate market demand, new competition that is coming in, supply, and anything, that has changed over the last 6 months, last 3 months, and it is also giving you sensitivity analysis that if the market is down, it may not necessarily want you to adjust prices. So it's taking out the emotional bias out of the decisions that we are taking. So we look at real data, we look at real data, we look at how the market is behaving, how the sub-market is behaving, and then we're able to tailor make our decisions. And as we go forward, you will see that, this forms the basis of many of the commercial and operational decisions as a general manager that we are able to take. And IFG has its own industry-leading proprietary system called Concerto, which does predictive analytics as well as pricing. Thanks, Bhuvnesh.
So you've actually set the context right, so we are going to be as good or as bad as what we capture over a period of time, and not just for our hotel, it's for the catchment. It's for the local city location, right? And across seasonalities and across various parameters, for instance, the classifications of hotels, right? The luxury kya kar raha hai, resorts kya kar rahi hain, and so on and so forth. So the spectrum is extremely wide, but yes, we have to narrow down and we should be able to read the data, right? And good data is as good as what we feed in, right?
Yes,
so,
because as I said, that it sets the foundation, and it's what we do out of the data that matters.
Yes, and your input is extremely valuable. With that, let me just walk across to you, Shilpa. Let's talk about the significance of demand forecasting. In your words, if you could tell us and explore why accurate demand forecasting is crucial for general managers in the context of the subject and what Kunal has just said.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Khanna. And I'm just taking forward from what Kunal just mentioned. And this also happens to be a topic of interest coming from a sales and marketing background. And I think I would like to quote here a quote from Graham Bell. Before anything else, planning is the key to success. So demand forecasting planning is basically where we kind of track our high, moderate, low periods well in advance. It also enables us to identify opportunities as business leaders to optimize and perform better in all our parameters. And I think it's not only crucial for the general managers, but all business managers, irrespective of the departments, to plan their respective functions and resources. And as a general manager, to be able to strike a fine balance between income, costs, the aim will always remain to achieve higher profit margins, happy teams, and of course, happy guests. So while we plan for people, products, processes, and all of it in turn needs to lead to the fourth P, which is profit, it is imperative for the hotels to map the year well in advance and plan basis factors like socioeconomic conditions, weather, key events, holidays, and various other dimensions to forecast the business and profits accordingly. I think the significance and demand forecasting also helps us anticipate the market trends, the travel patterns these days, and various sources which help us plan and prepare. Not only helping us optimizing our occupancies and revenues, but also to do the right pricing and yield maximum from all the sources we can. And I think on a lighter note, the more precise forecasting is, the better our revenue teams are. And as leaders, all our predictions for, say, turnovers, our profit margins, cash flows, capital expenditure, inventory management, and resource planning While it is all dependent on how accurate the forecasting is, all of it is interlinked. And especially in a multipolar setup that we all run, everything we do is dependent on everything around. And demand forecasting, while it's revenues, we also help our operations team plan better for our guests right from the arrival to checkout, to also identify potential spend power where we can maximize by upselling spas or other offerings. And we continue to plan operations for the guests. I think it's also critical where, of course, the procurements or expenses are planned, and the most critical resource being the human resource. And as a general manager, while I plan all my lean and high demand dates, we also have to make sure in all these processes, have our people rested enough for a busy day ahead, or have they taken enough time off on a leaner day? And I think people, this was always a priority and will remain a priority to be able to attain any level of success in our business. I am who I am, and we are all who are because of our people, sir. About all this, I think as a general manager, to be able to strike a fair balance between your operations, income, expenses, I think it's also very important, and to we being partners where our owners come and play, our subject experts, our stakeholders, and our travel partners. And I would also like to touch upon smaller aspect where maybe any one of us or any of the hotels that has been able to achieve, say, a 80, 85 or a 90% occupancies at their respective hotels. Do we have enough scope or capital funds available to maybe look at added inventories or to maybe add more outlets? So a demand and a forecasting understanding about how this is going to behave will also help us as business managers to look at more avenues. And I think so in Mr. Khanna, I would like to mention that in words of our Managing Director and CEO, Mr. Chatwal, our strategy, Ahwan 2025, the key to staying ahead in this dynamic industry is fragility, flexibility, our adaptability, planning, and a deeper understanding of our business and our people. And I think as hoteliers, let's all continue to plan and forecast better for all our hotels and for all my fellow IHCL colleagues to be the most iconic and profitable hospitality company. Thank you, sir.
Oh, you've actually said a lot. I mean, I'd actually planned to make an intervention, but ab no, sabko to tumne bol diya. But so extremely good. So, you know, the good demand forecasting basis input of data becomes easier. But also we must remember that we should not let our horses run wild, because if we put too much in demand forecasting and take stiff targets, you know, you should be able to deliver and you should be realistic. Actually, we should all strive to outdo the industry, right? Ki bhai itne mein itna chal raha hai, I will grow more than this.
Totally, sir.
All right. And also we should be able to flatten the curve. Okay. So yeah, that's good. Well said, Shilpa, extremely well said.
Thank
so
you,
now let me come in with Ruben. Ruben, you're a old fox in the catchment. You've done years, right? So tell me a bit about historical data analysis. How can we leverage past data to understand trends and patterns in demand? One, like I did tell Shilpa, we've got to be realistic. There has to be an element of stretch. I mean, if I can stretch here, I've got to really pull it up. But yeah, I shouldn't do something that my shoulders come off my sockets.
Yeah, thank you so much. And Shilpa, you have said it all. But no, gone are the days. I remember when we started about 20 years back, you know, revenue managers used to call each other with their Excel sheets and put up numbers across the board. And then, you know, in some fancy boardroom, used to come and sit and discuss and see those numbers and used to think, oh my God, this guy knows so much. We have moved along away from that. We have industry standards accredited reports, which all of these branded properties are now using to forecast their demand. Yes, it depends upon the seasonality. It depends upon the trends. A good thing about these reports are that definitely it takes care of flattening the curve, and it actually helps us to predict us in a more logical manner. Case to the point, if I give you a live example of it, in most of the city, buoyant in India for the World Cup cricket coming in October. And you can open up, I mean, some of us have the resource to open up multi-city reports, and you can see the dates where the matches are there. What are the rates, what is the demand, and what is the unconstrained demand of the city. Definitely, it will help us to plan better. I don't quite agree to the point of, not taking the risk. These reports, as I say, takes care of couple of factors and they are built up mostly on the, historical data. Sales, marketing, revenue, works with opportunities. So if you have opportunity and you have the courage to take calculated risk, not only looking at what the number is on the paper, I'm sure you will be, reaping benefits. Yes, you are right. The key to remain in this game is to remain ahead of other. Wholesomeness of data is something which I would like to also talk to some of the hotels. If for Hyatt, I can tell you that data flows automatically from our systems to these, collaborators. However, there are hotels who are participating but not sharing the data, which makes life a little bit difficult for all of us. But coming to the point, coming to the question, historical data definitely helps you to works on the seasonality factor and predict, or do inventory management and pricing in a proper manner. I think that's my take on it.
Yeah, extremely well. You mentioned an extremely important point about calculated risks, right? So the pitfalls and what's happening. And if you're somebody who's extremely clued in, you're on the ball, where it's happening, you're actually, you can't go wrong. And yeah, we cannot be somebody who's going to be a card shuffler, who's going to say, listen, let me take the risk, dekha jayega, aage kya hoga. We can't do that, right? And riding on us are not just investments, riding on us are a whole lot of fortunes, right? Fortunes of direct and indirect stakeholders, right? Fortunes of a whole lot of careers.
Absolutely.
And everybody wants good, stable ships which can sail on calm waters and choppy seas, right? So yes, we've got to be great skippers. With that, thank you, Ruben. Extremely important input. Let me just walk across to Divakar. Divakar, our first one together. That technology is all pervasive now, so it's all over, right? And it's there to assist us. Imagine a world without these tools, right? So let's talk about technology and tools. So if you can give us an overview of the predictive analytic tools that and technologies that the industry uses or could use, and how accurate forecasts can improve guest experiences through personalized services. Now, I want you to put on your thinking cap as a general manager of Your, and somebody who's in the current, who's somebody who knows how technology and these tools can be used to the best effects of our business. Go ahead. The floor is yours.
So,
the screen is yours, sorry.
Yeah. No, so, in fact, there are some questions which have, there are some points which I have picked up from Shilpa and you. I will cover that, and those something which I will want to cover that in my discussion. So I'll take that up. So in terms of tools and technology, I think I would like to divide that into three larger headings. Two you have already put in. One is guest sentiment, and the other one is demand forecasting. So in demand forecasting, revenue management is a big one. And the second one is marketing. I think we have covered a little bit of that also in our discussion. And the third one, which is the big one, is the guest satisfaction. Now, in regards to revenue management, most of the hotels, they do their bit. There are a lot of revenue management platforms which is utilized, like IDS, Rainmaker. Now, these platforms are there available for everyone to use. And what does it do? Is what I want to just cover it up. However, in IHG, we have, like Kunal has mentioned about Concerto, we have a very well integrated revenue management platform. In fact, it's not a platform only for revenue management. It's a dashboard which helps us cover all aspects of operations. A general manager can just open it and have a look at it, and he'll get an idea of what's happening across the departments. But then we will cover only the revenue management part of it, because it really helps us to analyze the data. It gives us very robust data analytics, and it has the reporting capability, which is very accurate. It provides hotel with insight into the performance of what we are doing, and it also covers the third party rate shopping, and it tells you what's happening in the city, and on basis of that, how the rates are changing dynamically, what should you price yourself at, and covers all the aspects which both Shilpa and Kunal and Ruben has covered in terms of why do we need to use the predictive analytics, because you need to have someone who covers all the aspects for you. So IG Concerto is a big one, which we follow in our company for revenue management. Also, there is a very good support we get from our global analytics team. There are many dashboards which has been provided to us in IIG. So these dashboards are very technical. They cover your daily rate changes. It covers your rates, what you are having. It covers your competition pricing. It tells you whether you have changed the rate which was suggested with you or not. So these are very great tool which we are provided to us in our company, and we use that. I'm sure every brand has it, or if not, then there are third parties who can provide that. We also do a very good thing which we have just initially started now in F&B operations. F&B is a big part of predictive analytics. So we use a tool called Table Check, and there are some other tools also, which is like Serve Me and all. Now, what does it do? As we spoke about data feeding, on basis of what we have fed in, this tool can actually, from the time we started to feed data, can start telling us what is our peak time, what dynamic buffet pricing we should do, what should be our staffing and inventory. In 3-4 months time, you'll start getting this amazing reports from this tool only by feeding correct data. Not only that, it also helps you in food cost management and what you should cook at what time. Shilpa covered upsell. I just wanted to mention that in our company, again, we have a very nice initiative which we are starting. It's called Norvan, and I'm sure these are available for everyone else to pick it up. Now, Norvan is a upsell tool which works like an airline's upsell tool. So the minute you book a seat or the minute you book a room, depending on your past experience, if you've not booked a meal in the airlines, it will start telling you that you've not booked your meal. Why don't you want to do that? Same goes with a hotel as well, where he gets upgraded, whether you want to book the next category and also. Very good. Not only there, it also informs the front office associate that this guest has not taken upsell. You should suggest that when the guest checks in. There's another one which is very specific for us, which I'm sure all the branded hotels are using, Demand 360 and Agency 360. Now, this helps us in getting to know about what's happening on the GDS, the Global Distribution System. Now, on base of what's happening on GDS, you can actually make your business case to pitch for the companies where you have not pitched for, the companies around you, and you don't have a business, and you see that they're doing some kind of business in your vicinity. You can pitch for that. And if you're not getting fair share of it, then you can go back to the company and say that, we are empaneled with you, but then you're still not using us as good as what you're using some other properties in the city. So these are revenue driven analytical tools which we use. Let me just move to marketing. Now, marketing is all about understanding from your predictive analytics. Now, we all know that what is the time when we need to post our social media campaigns, and those are all based on the tools or predictions which the social media has been doing with us. We all know what is the target audience we should be reaching out to, and it helps us to reach out to target audience, looking at who's looking at your website, who's clicked but not made a booking on your website. So these are something which we all do. In regards to personalized marketing, other than the social media, IG also has a very new and a good Wi-Fi solutions, wherein a member, when he comes to a hotel, he will get connected with the hotel Wi-Fi by itself. He'll not have to put in his name and room number and so on and so forth. That's called IG Connect. And that IG Connect actually provides the hotel an opportunity to push for a personalized campaign to this guest, looking at his pattern, which we have in our system, that we know that he likes to use bar at so-and-so time, or he likes such so-and-so food. So if there is a marketing campaign which is going around based on his liking, it can be pushed to him. He'll get to know that, okay, there is an offer in spa, there is an offer in laundry, or whatever he likes to. So that's a personalized marketing which we do, which can be done, and which in fact IG does it very well. Now I'll come to the most important one, which is guest related analytics. Now I think most of international companies, and even Taj also must be using. We use Medallia. There are things called Reminate. There are things called Review Pro. These are your tool where this tells you about your guest pattern. How's your guest? And it also bifurcates the segments of the guests. So age group, demography, gender, length of stay, which day you are getting feedback, and which is the what kind of guest, what age guest is marking you for, say, for breakfast, and someone is marking you for. Accordingly, when you have all these details with you, you can actually make a very, very personalized. Like in our hotel, we know that, okay, there is a guest who's between 25 to 30, and as a pattern, we know that 25 to 30 has given us so and so feedback. We counter that on arrival, and we ensure that that particular aspect generally is covered. And if there is something which this guest has to
Can
say,
you imagine what a poor guest has to deal with? You've actually done a living mortem on him, right? So, you dissected him to the barest bone, smallest bone, but yeah, you just spoke about, Shilpa also spoke about more sell and upsell, right? So these are also jargons which we use in retail. Yeah. So how do you upsell and more sell? These are good for the business, and these tools come in very handy. And makes the business extremely predictable and in good hands. At this, I'm going to take a short break. You guys don't mind, because I have this slot for a commercial break. So I'll just chip in over here, cut through. All right, Salman. Thank you, Diversey. Thank you once again. And also, the BW Hotelier Indian Hospitality Summit and Awards are due in just about 45 odd days. Register yourself, mark your calendar, block your time. If you can come into Delhi, damn good, register yourself, but come after an invite. Otherwise, this show is also going to be virtual. So we can only take in a few hundred numbers, but all the others can watch it live. We're also going to have a television partner, right? So yeah, you watch the stars, watch the leaders, see what they have to say. And last but not the least, we're going to take a 6-week break after this episode, which is episode 20, before we come in with the episode 21 on October 26th. This is an important announcement that we're taking a 6-week break. The IHA is extremely demanding and calls for a lot of human effort. Yeah, which wish I had some tools to be able to manage that, right? For the VIPs who are going to fly in to Delhi, we're going to be at the Pullman and at the AeroCity in New Delhi. So yes, we're taking a break, but block your time after the 26th of October. We're going to have at least 10 to 12 more shows, if not more. I have to do that. I owe it to the industry. Yeah, for all the general managers who are waiting, who've listed up for speaking in the show. Sorry, my apologies, Divakar, I had to butt in. You've got to cap your response ASAP. Go ahead, sir.
No, I was just going through, because we utilize a lot of tools, and since it's a topic where there are a lot of people who want to know it, so hence we spoke about it. So yeah, these are. So there are a few more, like we were talking about. I think Shilpa was talking about manning and workforce optimization. So we have a very good one which we use in our hotel, which is called workforce optimization tools. It is based on your forecasted occupancy. It tells you how many people you should use and you should get, and if there's a difference, then why is the difference. So it helps you keep your workforce also intact in terms of numbers, and profitability goes in. So you're talking about how competition is doing and how we should do better than competition. So I think there are two very important tools which I'm sure a lot of us are using it. One is called Hotstats, which is again from STR.
बेटा तुमने सारे अपने बता दिए tools जो use करते हो.
इसमें कुछ छुपा नहीं है. People should use it. It's always better. And like Hotstats and STR Forward, I want everyone to be enrolled on, so that it becomes a very, very stronger platform to depend on. So this Hotstats is actually something where in Chennai not many hotels are enrolled, but then it gives you comparison with profitability. The whole P&L gets compared between hotels, not by mentioning hotels like STR. You get to know how are you doing against in your accommodation profitability, how are you doing in F&B profitability. And that when you look at your city-wise competition, you understand where are you standing and make changes accordingly. Now we get STR Forward, which tells you the occupancies in the city, how you are faring against these occupancies. Now, if you're missed out somewhere, it really gives you an opportunity to figure it out, that what's the thing which we are missing out. And so predicting is all about, the tools are all about predicting. You can't be predicting without.
But as a guest, I would be extremely worried, right? As a guest, I would be extremely worried कि यार ये तो मेरा सब कुछ ही उतार के ले जाएंगे.
नहीं, ये उतार के ले नहीं जा रहे हैं. उतार इसलिए रहे हैं क्योंकि आप as a guest, when you come, you get what you're used to. When you come to hotel, the hotel knows everything about you, and you
I must tell you this. I was booking tickets for my daughter. She's overseas. She's in the US. She's supposed to come. And I took 1.5 days, a little less than that. So the algorithms had caught up that this joker is looking for tickets, right? So they had started jumping those fares. But parallelly, when somebody else was looking for those fares, they were getting lower fares while I was getting higher fares.
Yeah, that happens.
Right? So that happens. That's where I felt tricked. So I also tricked the system. So I kept measuring up and inquiring from one and booked on another. So good. Yeah, Divakar, I'll now move to Kunal. Kunal, मेरे को ये बताओ, market segmentation बड़ी important है, right? I mean, आप hotel classification देख लो, market segmentation देख लो. So if you can tell me how segmenting the market for more precise demand forecast works, right? And you should also tell me in some manner, what is the segmentation? थोड़ा खोल के समझा मैं हमारे को, because मेरे को इसके बारे में ज़्यादा नहीं पता.
Okay. So market segmentation or business mix, I think this is the very foundation of revenue management. And this is what distinguishes a successful hotel and not so successful hotel. So coming back to the predictive demand intelligence tools that we're talking about, so they would based on your past historical data and your future variable factors, they would set up your line of forecast for the next 6 months, 12 months, and then this forecast would bucket into various market segmentations that is defined for a particular hotel. Each market segmentation is basically similar sets of consumers who behave in a certain way. Now these tools give you the insight, both internal as well as external. So you have your corporate travelers, you have your wholesale, you have association. Now each of these guests, what I call, who probably already stayed with us, in a sister hotel. At ING, we have more than 5,000 hotels globally, and we have a lot of repeat guests that come in. So this will tell us that each segment or each individual, what is the propensity to spend in terms of F&B? What is their affinity to the brand? Which brand have they stayed in? When they stayed in the previous hotel, did they have any problem? Did they have any service issue? What is there this thing in terms of spend part, the in-house spend. So once we have all this data, on each of our market segmentation, it helps us to, market our internal marketing programs, as well as, position ourselves, to exactly what the guest wants. So that is in terms of the internal guest. And externally, when we look at each of our market segmentation for the hotel, these tools, will benchmark us against what the market is doing and what our primary comp set is also doing. So each of our hotels is defined against the primary comp set, 4 or 5 hotels that we compete with, and the wider market as such. So it will tell us, so if in terms of a corporate segment, if we have a 20% share and my comp set has a 25% market share, and the larger market as whole has a 30% market share. So this is the area that I will come to know that these are my opportunities, that probably I have an opportunity to do much better in a specific segment. So that's where the business decision making comes, at a general manager along with this team, to brainstorm that what can we do to make up, for these opportunities. So that's how these what you call tools would help us. They would also help us, what I called, having all this, what I call, data on market segmentation would also help us tailoring our marketing promotion. So we exactly know that this is our main market segment. So for example, in my hotel, wellness, families, as couples, as well as weddings are the main segmentation. So my main marketing promotions and focus towards anything that I do is targeted towards these main segments. So this is what's going to help each hotel knowing their market segmentation, tailoring their resources, their planning, their sales, focused accordingly. It will also help us to improve our forecast accuracy for the hotel, to also build up on the competitive advantage for the hotel in terms of how the hotel would like to position itself in terms of the product, in terms of the pricing going forward.
Extremely well said. Yeah, I agree. This segmentation is extremely key so that one can be very precise and focused and do pointed plans for each part of the each pie of the business. So with that, let me walk across again to you, Shilpa. My second one to you. There's no going away from how external factors can impact our business and our plans. I'd like you to discuss how external factors like events, holidays, festivals, how do they really impact and influence our predictions? One, there are things like, I don't know South में कैसा है, but Shraddh में भी आड़ी मासम होता है.
Yeah.
But North में Shraddh है. Then you've got Navratras, then you've got Diwali, and then up you've got the winters, you've got the summers, you've got Durga Puja here, you've got Dandiya in the west, or Ganesh, which is just happening next week. So how do you do that? I mean, our objective is to flatten all upheavals in the market and have a good plan and good business going. Batao.
Sir. So I think external factors where we spoke about events, holidays, seasons, I think flatten nahi karte sir, but in lieu of maybe these giving us opportunities or challenges, they remain extremely crucial and significantly influence the predictions in our business. And especially in industry like ours, demand fluctuates throughout the year, days, months, weeks, due to all these factors, as we just listed them, sir. And the key for all of us is to understand and effectively manage the impact on our business, which is extremely essential for us to maximize revenues, optimize our operations, and deliver exceptional guest services. I think, sir, I would define this into three tabs where we talk about events. So key city events or major events draw specific demographics in our business. To quote, say, for an example, if it's a city event, we see an inflow on room demand, so as hotel revenues, and price our hotels accordingly. Biggest example, I think right now we can all talk about is G20, which has clearly not only impacted the performance of the hotels, but the entire city, or for that matter, the entire nation. And a few more examples where these key events not only brought those smaller or larger destinations on the map, but a one-time big event kind of made the destination go so well, attracting a lot of repeat and seasonal business. Another example, we have World Cup coming up in October, which again gives us immense opportunity to maximize at all our hotels in the country. Then we have holidays that boost occupancies for resorts traditionally, as we've seen. However, slows down occupancies in city hotels, which is the mindset we've all grown with. And like COVID helped us build around offers like the Dream Drive, Discover Delight, staycations, daycations, which in those times or even today, we've run them successfully to be able to drive business at our hotels. And to give an example, for this very hotel, I think we see a corporate movement starting Monday to Friday. And we've done certain strategies with the team, and we've looked at some tactics where we now are seeing families on weekends from Chennai or nearby cities for smaller breaks. So these little strategies then and now are all not only helping the hotel to drive business locally from the city or in and around, but is also helping the hotel look at a market segment and also change the service design at the hotel to cater another customer segment, which is an opportunity in itself. And seasons, I think so, where we talk about festivals, we talk about Navratras, Diwali, Dashera. I think depending on each region, predictions are done knowing the demand that is going to grow in these seasonal destinations with respect to the forecasts and the demand in those particular areas. And these are all the indicators for all of us to plan and predict. And we spoke about demand forecasting. And I think, sir, I have been with IHCL for 14 years in various cities and have been an active member of the sales and marketing function. Have been personally involved in predicting business at our hotels, maximizing key dates. We have got weddings and, of course, the seasonal destination. So these are not only factors, but derivatives, indicators that also help us excel in our performances. And may these factors and events continue to influence us in a positive way, and let us all continue to predict higher margins, better employee engagement, and enhanced guest experiences. After all, we are all about Atithi Devo Bhava.
How well said. Shilpa, you also have very relevant points and extremely well, you made your points extremely well. You spoke about G20 and how it's given a new dimension and meaning to our business. I'm sure you will agree, and we all follow Dubai. All right. I've seen Dubai in the middle and late 80s, right? With nothing. There was nothing to what they are today. So if you drive downtown or you go anywhere, they've got these large billboards which actually talk about the city nations event calendar. कि January में क्या हो रहा है, February में क्या हो रहा है. So all these things actually create commerce, direct and indirect commerce, and hotels are the biggest beneficiaries.
Totally, sir.
Right? Apart from travel and tourism, जो आएगा वो होटल में भी रहेगा, वो जाके मॉल में भी जाएगा, and they will spend and they'll see, they'll take Ubers, they'll take cabs. So I think it's incumbent on our part, on our city, state, and central governments to think of these calendars, right? And yes, this actually flattens the demand curve in a manner that lower demand times actually get filled up. All right, I remember we used to in retail, I was in retail, right? So we used to have a Adi Masam discount, right? So those are offers. So, okay, Sharad mein kaun discount karta, but Sharad ki bhi offer nikalti hai. So let me just walk across now to my good friend Ruben. Ruben, I'm back to you.
Yeah.
Ruben, tell me, real-time data integration is extremely important. Imagine you have dated data and that gives you a feel, but that does not give you a real-time feel. So if you can tell me the importance of integrating real-time data for more accurate forecasting as in now, as it is relevant now.
Yeah. So, see, I have a personal opinion and I have a, opinion, which is what we are doing currently. What we are doing currently in terms of real-time data integration is very, very basic and simple, where we, take data out of, again, collaborative platforms where, we can see the occupancies and the price across the segments. Rooms business forecasting is done, looking at those kind of indices like price or occupancy, and we, accordingly manage our inventory. That is what is happening in hotels largely, at least in this part of the world, across branded hotels like ours. There is quite a bit of opportunity. I somehow attended and remembered a speech by one of the, new gen leaders who found a very big online hotel company in India. A very big, like a game changer company. And and I was attending Hosi at the Taj Palace, Delhi, some years back before pandemic. I just became a GM that time. So all my ears and eyes open, listening to all the big informations, and big data was the, something which I wanted to know. What was big data? And he said that, across the platforms, how many people are coming into the city? Say, for example, in Chennai today, for arrival in domestic and international, how much passengers are coming? How many people are booking, Zoom car in the city? So across platforms, in the total travel and industry gamut, are the data exchanging taking place? Well, traditionally, it's not taking place. At least to our table, to our laptop, it's not coming. That's why I'm sure, everything is on cloud, and I'm sure some smart, tech company will come and give us a kind of data in future, which is going to be based on real-time dynamics, all on allied industries, which will impact us. I mean, how often we see that, like when we are booking ourselves, on an OTA platform, and see 9 people are also looking at the same rooms. It gives you a palpitation, or the last room on this rate is available. It gives you a palpitation and a titillation. Okay, let me book it, otherwise to gaya. Holiday gaya. I have to book at Taj at, some very high rate. No, so coming back, that is not happening, and that is what I should, foresee. If I can predict, I'm sure in couple of times. Once I get the entire download of hotstats from Diwakar, I will then venture out and see whether we can, get real-time data, which is real-time, and do some predictive analytics. However, I would like to, here tell about a platform, though not on demand forecasting, but on guest experience. I have used a couple of chatbots which all team members use and interact with our guests. And the chatbot can be integrated through the loyalty app or through WhatsApp, where the guest experience are on live. So the guest can chat on his experiences on that platform, and service recovery, if required, can be at a faster rate than waiting for the medallia to come. So that's real time, that's happening, and that's helping us. However, in the demand forecasting, still the real-time integration across the industry is something which I have not seen. I'm not that, I would say, educated in this. So if something comes in quickly, I would like to see it and learn from it. Thank you.
Yeah, very valid observations. See how real-time data integration can help. So we're living in the present then. Right? It's like going to your local provision store and being sold a loaf of bread, which should have been actually 7 days from expiry, but you get it 2 days from expiry or a day from expiry. So yeah, we need to be on the ball and what's happening, and also there are which is something which I'm going to take up with Diwakar also, but something that kicks up suddenly, right? Suddenly you have a storm, you have a typhoon, you have a major weather intervention, or a God-forsaken riot or something, right? A civil disobedience. So how does that impact? So we've got to be on the ball. Thank you so much, Ruben. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, and yeah, a good observation. See, these are some cognizance we are taking offline and integrating in our forecasting.
True.
But why not, through AI or any other platform to integrate
Absolutely.
itself, where the system tells that there's a storm and the airlines will be impacted, so the rates will be lower because we are forecasting less occupancy. That would have been a great thing.
Yes, and also there is this element of force majeure factors. So so yeah, so we've got to, like I said, we've always got to try and flatten the demand. All right. So Diwakar, coming from this topic, we were just speaking. Let's talk about risk mitigation if we can. So using predictive analytics, how do you mitigate risks associated with overbooking or underbooking?
So I
ऐसा
think
नहीं होना चाहिए जैसे आजकल एयरलाइंस ओवरबुक कर लेती हैं. Where was I? I was in August, beginning of August. I was in Bangalore. So very prominent airline, very prominent airline. मतलब one of the fanciest airlines. I love flying. I'm not going to tell you which one. So suddenly we were two colleagues who were flying, and the lady comes and says, I will upgrade your luggage, right? And you'll get it fast. You'll have a fast check-in. If you can please take the next flight, or I'll give you a business class seat. I said, what's happening? And there was the case of overbooking, right? So imagine what happens. What happens to that poor customer? She went from one customer to the other, and all that she wanted was 10 seats. Imagine the overbooking. So let's talk about that risk mitigation, Diwakar.
So I'll answer this question of yours, what happens in the industry, and then I'll talk about the rest of the points of risk mitigation. So this happens in hotel industry as well. But then because we are predicting and we know that we are minus, and we are minus by, every hotel knows how many rooms they can oversell, and accordingly they have contingency plan. And in our case, not the next airlines, we try and book them in a hotel which is nearby. So the first the sister hotel, maybe in our case Crown Plaza, Kunal is too far. If not, then then 2 other hotels which is nearby. So it happens. It happens in our case also where we go, but then
Is
we
that a
know.
risk worth taking?
So we know, as in, how many minuses we can go by, -7
Keep the
room.
ethics, keep the ethics in on the.
So yeah. So when you have to do a sold out, you at times you do this, and not frequently, but then you ensure that the guest who's going through that stays overnight there and comes back next morning and stays with you and continues to stay with you. So you need to really look after that guest well. So it happens. Uh, Other than that, if you ask me about how this is helping us, so this is really, if you are predicting well, you can do your pricing dynamic. You can when you see that you are uh, something is going down, just change the pricing. So it helps you by mitigating the high price yourself higher and stay empty. No, it when you look at your booking pace, it gives you a pattern on how it is going, how the pace is shaping up, and accordingly make changes in your and who's booking. Is it a short stay or long stay? So accordingly you can make the, so again, you don't lose out a room. You don't create a valley in between days for losing out the revenue. Also the inventory allocation, there are times when you know which segment of room is getting sold, so base category is going fast, you can hold the base category and start selling the next category to make optimize more revenue and make more money out of that for the hotel. You can also see the pattern of cancellation. You can predict that, okay, what's happening with the, is there like earlier for one OTA used to be open for canceling at the last minute, and we had to really go back and make some changes in that process, and now we have made changes. So yeah, the prediction of cancellation also can be done by this and mitigate your risk of last minute cancellations. You do real-time monitoring. You figure out that what's happening in real time and make the changes accordingly, and have lesser risk in terms of, and what you spoke about in terms of guest being bumped off in our language, and guest being given another airline. So it helps you in contingency planning. You know already that you are at so and so, so you have a very strong plan. Pick up the guest from airport, move him to the next hotel, try and do the same thing which the airline did with you, that we'll do a upgrade, and so give a better room, move them there, and then pick them up next morning from there. So it's a great tool, great support for us to be mitigating risk, and I think we use this in a great manner. But then, like we have all discussed, I think it's all about how you have data, you have tools, how well do you use it. End of the day, the human resources in hospitality industry, the top-notch expense, and that is what guides and works on the on the supports and on the suggestions which we have got from the tool. So you need to have a great human resource too to be able to utilize these tools and technologies. Thank you.
Yeah, extremely important, but this can also be slightly tricky, like I said. But yes, it's like, how are you in control of the situation and not letting it slip away? But thank you so much. That's a very good response and something which I was looking forward to. This has been a great discussion. Like all good things must come to an end. This show's coming to an end. So I'm going to gloss over with our conclusion now, and also then thank everybody. So predictive analytics is really shaping the hospitality industry. It also equips you general managers with the foresight needed to thrive in an ever-changing market. The insights that you've shared here today highlight the transformative potential of predictive analytics in demand forecasting. As general managers, increasingly, you can harness the power of data-driven decision-making. You're better positioned to adapt to market fluctuations. You can optimize resources and provide exceptional guest experiences. And also, you can end up supporting your teams, that the boss is in control, the business is in good hands and streaming well. And that also motivates. It assures the owners. It also shows the brand operators and the catchment. The future of hospitality management, of course, lies in predictive analytics, ensuring a more efficient, agile, and a guest-centric industry. Hospitality is, after all about experiences. And at the heart of all that we do every day, every evening, every awake moment is our guest, right? We're there for our guests. Whatever happens apart from that is different. Ladies and gentlemen, I've had a brilliant show. This is my first show with Shilpa and Divakar, my second one with Kunal and Ruben. I've had a ball of a time. This is a subject I was really waiting to discuss with some of you. And God has been kind, brought in 4 brilliant general managers who put forth their views in an amazing manner. Before I go away, I would like to thank Diversey. Diversey, thank you so much. Bring on the Diversey video, please. Thank you, Diversey. The BW Hotelier Indian Hospitality Summit and Awards are going to be back on the 20th and 21st of October, Friday and Saturday. For those of you who submitted your nominations, I must tell you, we've had record submission of nominations, right? Our hands are full. So the team's already cracked on it, and it's been 72 hours of a lot of data crunching. So the kind of submissions, because this time we've not just leaned on quantitative submissions, we've leaned on qualitative submissions, and we're also preparing for video interviews with 5 categories, from general managers downwards, culinary, PR, so on and so forth. You all know that. For the ones who filled your forms, be excited. The jury has had its first pre-jury meeting yesterday. There were almost 45 of us who've discussed. The jury is led by luminaries. And of course, the biggest one of them, KB Kachru, Rajiv Kaul, Suresh, Farhat, Veer Vijay Singh, Gautam Anand, Sandeep Mukherjee, Mandeep, Vijay Thakkar, Jaideep. The list is long, right? You have Hemant Oberoi. So just in case you thought there's a star who's missing, there are a lot of stars in there. You got Rakhi Lalwani. Look, 45 names I can't reel off, but then they are all working hard on them. Dilip Puri's Indian School of Hospitality, their team is working on gathering all the data together and presenting it to the jury. So on and so forth. Best of luck and see you back soon. And all of you, please block your time, book your tickets and come there. Divakar, thank you so much.
Thank
Shilpa,
you.
wonderful having you here. Kunal, as usual, Kunal and Ruben, thank you for gracing our platform. You make the show look much better than we are. And also, before I go away, Team BW, thank you so much. Tanvi, Shweta, Prashant, Kartike, Deep Majumdar, Salman, Ajit, Saurabh, Priyanshu, Amit, and Nilesh. And last but not the least, we're taking a 6-week break. We're going to be back with episode 21 on the 26th of October. So if you don't see me here next Thursday and Friday and for another 6 weeks, I'm alive. I'll be back on the 26th of October. Thank you all. Thank you for gracing our show.
Thank you, sir.
Good to be
Thank
there.
you.
Good to be here.
Thank you.
What a blessing.